she was snubbed from the cover of Team USA. And not only is they snubbing her, the disrespect is continuing because it's looking like Team USA is forcing Caitlin Clark to change her number.
Team USA just made the biggest mistake in women's basketball history, and word is already leaking out that they know it. The organization that controversially snubbed Caitlin Clark from the Olympics has now forced her to ditch her legendary number 22 for some random number 17, and the regret is setting in fast. We're talking about the same number 22 that broke college basketball, filled arenas across America, and turned Clark into the most recognizable athlete in women's sports. But Team USA decided to strip it away for absolutely no logical reason whatsoever. But here's where things get interesting. Multiple sources close to the organization are now revealing that Team USA officials are privately freaking out about the decision. The backlash hit harder and faster than anyone expected, and suddenly the people in charge are realizing they just alienated the biggest star in their sport over something completely avoidable. This isn't some minor controversy that will blow over in a few days. This is a full-scale disaster that has exposed just how out of touch Team USA really is. The leaked information shows that Team USA executives are scrambling behind closed doors, trying to figure out how to manage the fallout from this catastrophic decision.
To be made, the Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number in women's sports right now. There's no argument to be made. There's no case to be made. Caitlin Clark, number 22, is the most recognizable number.
Phone calls are being made, emergency meetings are happening, and damage control is in full swing. The problem is that you can't easily walk back, forcing your biggest star to change the number that made her famous. The damage is already done. What makes this even more ridiculous is that nobody else was even wearing number 22 on the training camp roster. The number was completely available, just sitting there unused, and they still made Clark switch. There was no conflict with Asia Wilson or any other veteran player. No scheduling issues or uniform problems, just pure bureaucratic stubbornness that has now blown up in their faces spectacularly. The timing couldn't be worse for Team USA either. After months of criticism for leaving Clark off the Olympic team, they finally brought her into the fold, only to immediately disrespect her again. It's like they learned absolutely nothing from the first controversy and decided to create an even bigger one. The organization that should be celebrating having the sport's biggest star is instead dealing with another self-inflicted public relations nightmare. And the cherry on top, this training camp was supposed to showcase the future of American basketball, featuring rising stars and generating positive buzz for the program. Instead, every single story about the camp is going to focus on why Team USA forced their most popular player to give up her iconic number. That's not the narrative they wanted, but it's exactly what they deserve. Let's dig deeper into why this decision is so incredibly tone deaf. Caitlin Clark's number 22 isn't just some random digits on a jersey. This number has become a global phenomenon that transcends basketball itself. When Clark wore 22 at Iowa, she didn't just break records, she shattered the entire ceiling of women's college basketball. That number was on her back when she surpassed Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record, a moment that had sports fans worldwide losing their minds. The number 22 carried Clark through back-to-back national championship game appearances that drew television audiences nobody thought were possible for women's college basketball. March Madness viewership exploded because people specifically wanted to watch number 22 dominate on the biggest stage. That jersey became must-have merchandise for young girls across America who saw Clark as their hero. Parents were buying number 22 Iowa jerseys faster than stores could stock them.
We're number 17 at Team USA training camp. On December 24th, news broke that Caitlin Clark will be taking a part in the training, which that's what we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now, this right here this came out this came out on the 24th. So these are the numbers, man. Head on over to Twitter and check this out real quick. So this is what was released right here. It says Lauren Betts. Hold on, here's the ages. Where's the number? Here we go, right here. So these are the numbers. Caitlin Clark. Let me blow this all the way up, man. I want to blow this all the way up so y'all can see this. So as y'all can see here, man, how did Caitlin Clark number will be changed? So who's wearing 22? Or if you guys remember, Michael Jordan wore number 45 in the Olympics. Caitlin, because it don't look like no one's wearing number 22.
But wait, it gets even better. When Clark transitioned to the WNBA with Indiana Fever, she kept wearing 22, and the magic continued. Suddenly, WNBA arenas that used to be half empty were selling out completely. Television ratings skyrocketed to levels the league had never seen before. The Indiana Fever went from being an afterthought to the most watched team in women's professional basketball, all because fans wanted to see number 22 in action. Now, here's the kicker. Team USA had the perfect opportunity to capitalize on this incredible brand recognition. A Caitlin Clark number 22 Team USA jersey would have been the hottest piece of basketball merchandise in the world. Parents would have been camping outside stores to buy them for their daughters. International fans would have ordered them online by the thousands. The marketing potential was absolutely enormous. Instead, Team USA decided to completely destroy that opportunity by forcing Clark into number 17. Nobody associates number 17 with anything special in women's basketball. There's no emotional connection, no brand recognition, no marketing appeal whatsoever. It's just a random number that creates confusion and disconnects Clark from the identity that made her famous in the first place. The most frustrating part is that this wasn't even a difficult decision. When you have the most recognizable number in women's sports available to use, and it belongs to your biggest star, you let her wear it. Period. End of discussion. Any competent organization would have understood this immediately, but Team USA somehow managed to overthink the most obvious decision in basketball history and create a massive controversy out of thin air. The leaked regret makes perfect sense because Team USA officials are probably looking at the social media explosion and realizing they just threw away millions of dollars in potential revenue. They turned what should have been a celebration of American basketball into another embarrassing headline about organizational dysfunction. The decision was so bad that even people who don't follow women's basketball are questioning Team USA's judgment. Let's talk about what happened behind the scenes when this disaster started unfolding. The moment Team USA released that training camp roster with Clark listed as number 17, social media absolutely exploded. We're talking about a complete meltdown across every platform, with fans, analysts, and casual observers all asking the same question. What the hell were they thinking? The backlash was so swift and brutal that Team USA executives were reportedly caught completely off guard. Sources reveal that within hours of the roster announcement, Team USA headquarters was in full panic mode. Phone calls were flooding in from sponsors, media partners, and basketball organizations asking for explanations that nobody could provide. The organization that thought they were simply following standard protocol suddenly realized they had stepped into a public relations nightmare of epic proportions. But here's where it gets really embarrassing. Team USA officials apparently expected some minor grumbling about the number change, but figured it would blow over quickly. Instead, they got a tsunami of criticism that dominated basketball conversations for days. Sports commentators were calling the decision tone deaf, fans were threatening to boycott Team USA merchandise, and even former players were speaking out against the organization's handling of their biggest star. The leaked information shows that emergency meetings were called almost immediately after the backlash began. Executives who had signed off on the decision were suddenly asking how they could reverse it without looking completely incompetent. The problem is that once you publicly announce jersey numbers for a training camp, changing them again makes you look even more disorganized and clueless than you already did. What makes this situation even more humiliating is that Team USA had months to think about this decision. Clark's participation in the training camp wasn't a last-minute surprise. They had plenty of time to consider the optics, the marketing implications, and the fan reaction. Yet somehow, an entire organization filled with basketball professionals managed to completely bungle the most basic decision imaginable. The private regret is reportedly so intense that some officials are questioning whether the rigid numbering system needs to be completely overhauled. When your bureaucratic rules create massive controversies and alienate your most valuable assets, maybe it's time to admit those rules are stupid and outdated, but changing the system now would be admitting they screwed up, which organizations hate doing even when it's painfully obvious. And here's the really pathetic part. Team USA is now stuck dealing with this self-inflicted mess for the entire duration of the training camp. Every interview, every practice report, every piece of media coverage is going to mention the number controversy. What should have been positive publicity for American basketball has turned into a constant reminder of organizational dysfunction and poor decision-making. The leaked regret proves that even the people who made this decision know it was a mistake. They're just too proud or too bureaucratic to admit it publicly and fix the problem they created. Now let's examine the financial disaster Team USA just created for themselves. The merchandising potential they threw away with this decision is absolutely staggering. When you have the most marketable athlete in women's basketball wearing the most recognizable number in the sport, you're sitting on a goldmine of commercial opportunities. But Team USA managed to turn that goldmine into a complete financial flop with one incredibly stupid decision. A Caitlin Clark number 22 Team USA jersey would have been the fastest selling piece of women's basketball merchandise in history. Young girls who idolized Clark would have begged their parents to buy them. Adult fans who followed her college and WNBA career would have wanted that collectible connection to her international debut. International basketball fans would have ordered them online to support the global superstar. The demand would have been absolutely insane, but instead of capitalizing on this opportunity, Team USA decided to create confusion in the marketplace. Now they're trying to sell Caitlin Clark number 17 jerseys, which makes absolutely no sense to anyone. Fans don't associate her with that number. There's no emotional connection or brand recognition. It's just a random jersey with Clark's name on it, which completely destroys the marketing magic that made her so valuable in the first place. The leaked financial projections apparently showed just how much money Team USA is losing because of this decision. We're talking about potentially millions of dollars in lost merchandise revenue, licensing deals that won't happen, and marketing partnerships that are now less valuable. When your biggest star can't wear her iconic number, suddenly all those commercial opportunities become significantly less attractive to sponsors and retailers. Here's what makes the financial impact even worse. This training camp was supposed to generate massive buzz for the future of American basketball. Media coverage, social media engagement, and fan interest should have been through the roof with Clark finally joining Team USA. Instead, all that attention is focused on a completely avoidable controversy that makes the organization look incompetent and out of touch. The ripple effects extend far beyond just jersey sales too. When Team USA looks dysfunctional and creates unnecessary drama around their biggest stars, it damages their entire brand value. Sponsors start questioning whether they want to associate with an organization that consistently makes tone-deaf decisions. Media partners wonder if Team USA can effectively promote their events. International basketball organizations question American leadership in the sport. And the most ridiculous part is that this financial disaster was completely preventable. Team USA could have avoided all these problems by simply letting Clark wear number 22, which was available anyway. Instead, they chose bureaucratic rigidity over common sense and profit, creating a situation where everybody loses. Clark loses her iconic number, fans lose the merchandise they actually want, and Team USA loses millions in potential revenue. The private regret about this decision is probably intensifying as executives realize the full scope of the financial damage they've caused. When you're supposed to be maximizing revenue and growing the sport, creating unnecessary controversies that hurt your bottom line is pretty much the worst thing you can do. What this entire controversy really exposes is how completely disconnected Team USA has become from modern basketball culture. While the rest of the world has embraced Caitlin Clark as a transformational figure who brought millions of new fans to women's basketball, Team USA is still operating like it's 1995. They're stuck in outdated bureaucratic thinking that prioritizes meaningless rules over cultural relevance and common sense. The organization that should be leading women's basketball into the future is instead clinging to rigid traditions that serve absolutely no purpose. When your most popular player wants to wear the number that made her famous, and that number is completely available, forcing her to change it doesn't demonstrate organizational strength. It demonstrates organizational stupidity on a level that's almost impressive in its thoroughness. But let's be crystal clear about something. This isn't just about a jersey number anymore. This decision reveals fundamental problems with how Team USA views its role in modern basketball. They seem to think they're still the undisputed kings of the sport who can treat players however they want because wearing the red, white, and blue should be honor enough. That attitude might have worked decades ago, but it's completely toxic in today's athlete-empowered environment. Caitlin Clark is bigger than Team USA right now, and that terrifies them. She's brought more attention to women's basketball in the past 2 years than Team USA has generated in the past decade. Her college games drew larger television audiences than most Team USA events. Her WNBA appearances fill arenas that Team USA struggles to half fill. The cultural impact and commercial value she brings to any organization is enormous. Yet instead of embracing this reality, Team USA seems determined to diminish Clark's influence and remind everyone who's supposedly in charge. The number change feels like a power move designed to put her in her place rather than a legitimate policy decision. It's the kind of petty, small-minded thinking that destroys organizations from the inside and alienates the very people who could help them succeed. The leaked regret proves that some officials are finally realizing how badly they've misread the situation. Modern basketball fans don't care about arbitrary rules and bureaucratic traditions. They care about personalities, storylines, and connections to the players they love. When you break those connections for no logical reason, you damage your own product and drive away the audience you're trying to attract. Here's the brutal truth Team USA needs to face. They need Caitlin Clark more than she needs them. Her brand and popularity will survive this controversy just fine. She'll continue dominating in the WNBA, drawing massive crowds and inspiring young athletes around the world. But Team USA's reputation for competent leadership and cultural awareness has taken a massive hit that won't be easily repaired. The private regret about forcing this number change is just the beginning. As the full consequences of this decision continue unfolding, Team USA will realize they've damaged relationships with fans, players, sponsors, and media partners, all because they couldn't swallow their pride and let their biggest star wear the number that made her famous. That's not leadership, that's organizational dysfunction disguised as tradition.